Mabuhay! I am extremely excited to share this with you all. Talking about respect and how we treat each other. In our culture, another way of showing respect is to remember our loved ones who passed away. Recently, we created this virtual gallery about Araw ng Patay. Today, we're gonna usap usap with the artists about their experience and explore our point of views. Sana matuto tayo whatever we're gonna discuss at ma-inspire tayo to continue what we're doing sa sining. Sa mga ninuno, maraming salamat. Cheers para sa inyo, inuman.
Good. Okay. I grew up in the Philippines, but I remember as a kid, and then as an adult, going to the cemetery, spending the night in the cemetery, having fun. It was always you know a family reunion, things like that. So that's my experience. And then I remember going to Quezon, the Quezon province, and experiencing the festival there. But I guess strictly around the traditions, the burial traditions. I remember when I was a kid, I was playing in my mom's closet, and then I found a metal box, and then I took it out of the closet, and then there was a lock on it, and then so my mom was in the kitchen cooking, and I dragged it out there, and I shook it. It was I said, what's inside this box? And she said, oh, this Lola's bones. At first, I said, oh, that's cool. I wanted to open it, but then she didn't have the key. And then later, I was studying our burial traditions, like mananunggol jar and all these things, not just in the Philippines, but many cultures around the world. Usually here, it's the States, when you say Day of the Dead, they'll think of Mexican Day of the Dead, but then we have our own traditions, which is either has meaning like the Spanish influence, but then as Champoy was saying, like even before the colonial time, we had our own burial, our own Day of the Dead. So I like to look at it that way.
But yeah, it's so interesting. You mentioned that, but I guess I can go about like my experience like growing up. It's like the same pretty much, like parang party. There's always like DJs and like like a disco in the like cemetery, and it's always interesting because I think for me also just like yung parang experience mga ganon, like you just take it, you don't really see, you don't really ask, or at least I didn't ask, like, okay, why do we celebrate it like this, and why was it like this? But then again, only like later on as I get older, like you realize like like older like ancestors that like there's something about being close to the dead, this concept of being like close to them. But I think like yeah, I again like having the bones, that's like that's something else, like I feel like that's like something that even just the way we talk about death in the culture, I felt like it was different. But yeah, it's like a celebration too. I think there's like a mix of celebration and remembering. But then again, I keep thinking about how it is also intended to celebrate like ancestors we don't even know, because usually in the cemetery there's an area where it's like a general, you just light a candle for, like, you know, for maybe it's from someone like that passed away another place, or ancestors you don't even know, so there's just an area, and that's where you light a candle for them, so everybody can, it's like a public kind of but yeah.
For me, I don't have that like experience of like staying in the cemetery. Kasi yung madalas kaming we usually like move to houses, you know, like palipat-lipat kami ng bahay nun eh. And most of our dead loved ones are in the province. So minsan hindi kami nakakauwi. But most common is yung typical yung you lit up the candles, and then I remember my mom like cooking. She's cooking some pancit and biko, and then she reserved a plate for like right beside the altar, and then she said I asked her like, what's that for? It's just for your lolo and lola, so that when they try to visit us, they have food to eat, something like that. So yun pa lang yun yung pinaka natatandaan ko. That's a way of giving alay. Yung closeness din natin as a family, mga Pilipino. I think that's one of the reasons yung ba't tayo nagsa-celebrate din ng Araw ng Patay, to remember our ancestors, our loved ones.
How about second burial practices or washing of the bones? Let's talk about that on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell icon to get notified. And if you know any insights or information about Araw ng Patay, please write them down on the comments below. Let us know what you think, send us a link, and let's all learn about these practices.